more than 5 million in cash. Get the point? So each month he collects any money more than 5 million in cash, he has offended.
Yeah, but why did he have to collect it in cash in any case? But why did he have to collect it in cash? I don't understand.
You have just brought me to the issue while we are talking that PDP is very incompetent. Because that happened in PDP regime. You can imagine a party that could not even educate its officers at that level, the legal implications of what they are doing. Tony Okonkwo is not a lawyer. That is why the judge is saying, sorry, ignorance of the law is not an excuse. He's not a lawyer. Kenneth Okonkwo is. PDP could not even educate its officers at that high level. That is why people should avoid the living of the PDP. Jesus Christ warned his disciples, avoid the living of the Pharisees. Everybody should avoid anything that has to do with such a party that is so incompetent and so incoherent in the implementation of its policies. That's why Okonkwo got into problem. You hired people, you do not train them on the consequences of the law. You gave them cash yourself, they simply accepted it. They did what you told them to do by law and by the authority of the president, and then you are bringing them to law. But it's important we point out this. EFCC has been so quick in doing this. Ebola Tinubu carried bullion van in cash at the eve of an election publicly. And the EFCC has not even had the temerity of investigating that and asking him questions. Do you know what he used bullion van for? Tinubu has openly confessed what he uses it for. He said to his followers, power is not served a la carte. Power is not served in a restaurant during breakfast. You fight for it at all costs. You snatch it, you grab it, you run with it. What do you fight for? What do you grab? Ballot boxes. That's what he uses the bullion van for. The cash, openly. Nobody has even investigated that. And APC had the temerity of choosing such a man to be the APC presidential candidate.
So based on what
don't you think it's time that he resigns?
Well, it's not for me to express my own opinion.
Good.
But based on what
you will even have better point when you're talking about court of law. When you're talking about court of public opinion, can't you see the beauty that the person you can even compare in LP with the other presidential candidates is our DG? Meaning that P2B is not only that he's not corrupt, he's incorruptible. And so he's not comparable with the presidential candidates of the other parties. So whenever you're talking about corruption, you just have to look down for people who can make honest mistakes just because human beings are not God. But when you talk about corruption, the Oba of Bini looked at my principle and said, your integrity goes before you. My principle is a man that wouldn't even accept plot of land that is due to him as a former governor. He wouldn't even accept pension due for him. Lagos State used its own liaison office here in Abuja to compensate Tinubu after being governor, after they made the elaborate pension scheme law. So can you compare? No, you don't compare my principle with Atiku or Tinubu. When you talk about anything that is misappropriation, you can say that some people in Lebanon made honest mistake by the judgment of the court. Have you ever seen honesty added to those two gentlemen? Go to the court of public opinion, you wouldn't find it. A Tinubu and Atiku. Atiku will go to the north and tell the northerners, please, vote only the north. And he will go to the east and say, I am your surest way to the presidency. A man who publicly admitted that is the turn of the South is to present the next president, and he usurped forcefully and by monetary inducement. Don't take my words for it. Take the words of Hayatuddin, a presidential aspirant of PDP for it. He said the PDP primary was obscenely monetized. So when a man like that who bought his own ticket by the confession of them, remember what my principal did? He said PDP is now a stumbling block to his aspiration for a new Nigeria, and that was why he left. So do you compare such a manipulator and then such an intimidator in Tinubu who would tell if anybody that 6 months to the time any politically sensitive case is suspended until after the election? That is the convention there. Has this been followed here? So it's a political ambush. But you know what? No, we don't have anything to worry, because the best they have gotten is that the man made an honest mistake. But look at PDP. we have President Obasanjo, who happened to be the only principal that Atiku Abubakar ever served on as a political appointee. He said Atiku Abubakar is one of the most corrupt human beings on earth. The only principal that can appraise him. And you know what is happening? Wike said Ayu is the most corrupt national chairman on record. He said he collects billions of naira.
Yeah.
Good. And that Atiku is aware of it. Has he resigned? So when you talk about comparison, the worst of Labour Party is still better than the best of PDP and APC combined.
But you do know that there is, I mean, you've talked quite volubly about the court of law and
Yes.
the processes of the law. But you know that there are two things here, particularly because we're in a political season. That there is the law courts, which specialists like yourself are more familiar with, and then there's the court of public opinion.
Absolutely.
Can the P2B carefully constructed edifice remain standing and unscathed after this Donyokube calamity? Is it powerful enough, that edifice, to withstand what some have called a cratering shock?
By the combined effects of the actions of Doyin and P2B and Labour Party, this incident has actually promoted and rocketed us to the enviable position of the number one. Now, a court of law used the adjectival phrase, honest mistake, and yet Doyin, without pressure from anybody, resigned. Have you seen that from PDP? Have you seen that from APC? You see, P2B is still the only option. Labour Party